Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. You wouldn't think that there's much that somebody with a battleship has to be jealous about, but I'm really jealous of some of the interior restorations that have been performed on USS Lucid. And we are on USS Lucid today in Stockton, California. She is the centerpiece of the Stockton Maritime Museum. And this is the bosun's locker at the bow of the ship. And it is one of several interior spaces that has been restored based on the original builder's photos for this class of ship from the 1950s. And it is one of the spaces that will be on the tour route when the ship is fully open to the public. Many of you guys are familiar with restoration from historic houses or cars, aircraft, things like that that are relatively small and easy to do a full rebuild or restoration. You don't realize that you can do the same thing with a historic ship. And those of us who operate historic ship museums are all trying to accomplish this. We want the ship to look like the crew just walked off, and you, the visitor, are getting a behind-the-scenes experience walking through this thing like it would have back in the day, like you have time traveled in and for some reason that everything's here except the crew. And Lucid is one of those ships which has accomplished that in a couple of spaces and is in the process of accomplishing that with their whole tour route. And I'm really excited to see that because it's much harder to see that work in progress on New Jersey. New Jersey is donated by the Navy to the museum, the Home Port Alliance that operates the ship. And as such, she has a lot of her interior fittings still on her. But what she doesn't come with is really hard to replace in the quantity needed for the entire tour route. So, like many other ships, we've got some spaces that are pretty well restored and some that aren't. That we just don't have full restorations of the spaces yet. This ship is cool because she wasn't given to the nonprofit. After her naval service was finished, she gets sold off to a private owner and she goes through private hands a number of times. And she's turned into a houseboat for a period of time. And then she's sent to a scrapper who takes a lot of the metal work off. And the ship is basically an empty shell. I've heard of it described as the book phase, where you either need your matchbook or your checkbook to determine what the final fate of the vessel is going to be. Unfortunately, the Stockton Maritime Museum chose to pull out their checkbook instead of their matchbook, and they're showing us just what you can do with a restoration of a ship like this, starting from scratch. So check out some of these before and after pictures of, well, here's the bosun's locker. Here's what it looked like before this work was done. Another space that's been similarly restored are some of the berthing spaces, like this is Chief's. And this is some of the officer spaces, like the wardroom and the junior officers' cabins. Now check out the ship's pharmacy here. We were in the bridge for another video, but here's a before and after of what that space looked like. There aren't even portholes there, much less the steering console or any of the equipment. This was all stripped for scrap. So you can see the work that's been done, a lot of this by volunteers. These ships were made out of wood primarily, and so they're able to build a lot of the shelves and cabinets and things that are missing. Other things, like the hatch I'm sitting on here, they were able to get because NAVSEA opens up some of the ships that are about to be scrapped for museum ships to strip parts off of. We call those open houses or strip trips. And we've covered those before, some of the strip trips that Battleship New Jersey got to go on. But on a ship like Lucid, going from nearly nothing to backdating to her naval career, you can really see the benefit of those trips in replacing critical things. For us, we're just trying to find tools that go on empty racks. For them, they need the rack, they need the door to the space that that rack was in, They need the porthole that was in that space and everything else you can possibly imagine. And the cool thing is that they've been able to do it. And these before and after shots show you what about a decade of work has gotten them by going through and stripping stuff. And what's even cooler about this, Battleship New Jersey has a paid staff of up to 100 people pre-pandemic, both part-time and full-time. Paid staff for Lucid that's doing this work. Battleship New Jersey receives operating expenses from the New Jersey Department of State. You might have heard me say that before. Does the state of California or anybody else give significant money to Lucid? Absolutely not. So they're funding this work through private donations and out of pocket to be able to restore the ship so that they can get her to the point, they're thinking in the next 2 years, that she can be open to the public. A large portion of their volunteer staff here are students at a local vocational high school that come in to learn the plumbing, electrical, chipping and painting, these various skill sets on an actual on-the-job training work site that's within walking distance of their school. So it's not just veterans that come out and volunteer on ships like these. And it's important that if you've got some free time, you check, there's a link in the description below to hinsa.org. There's a map there of all the museum warships that are members of HINSA. Obviously, if you're watching this channel, you are interested in museum warships. So see which ones are close to you. You might be surprised. Stockton, California is about 90 miles from the Bay Area, pretty far inland, and yet they've got this beautiful minesweeper. Likewise, places like Arkansas and Omaha, Nebraska have museum ships. So check the link in the description, see if there's one close to you. If there isn't, you can always support them with donations. Plans call for the moving of the ship to a new permanent home where she can be open to the public in historic downtown Stockton by 2025, the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States Navy. So, as you can see, a lot of work has been done, but there's a lot of work left to be done to get the ship to that point and a set timetable to accomplish it by. So your support is very much appreciated in reaching these goals. It's been really cool for me and my staff from Battleship New Jersey who have gotten to come here and see a completely different type of restoration in progress, really from a dead ship to a completed ship. And this restoration I find really cool because at the end of the day, she is as clean and outfitted as if she were a brand new vessel. It's like you're a plank holder coming onto a new ship, as opposed to on New Jersey, and other ships like her, Navy ships that are fully outfitted, where you can see weld marks from things that have been cut off and other stuff like that. You feel like you're going on a ship that has been used a lot. You do not feel like you're going on a brand new ship like the restored spaces on this one do. If you ran your own museum, what would be your interpretive goals? Would you be trying to display the ship as if the Navy just walked off? Would you use your ship as the building that houses an actual traditional museum? Would you try to restore your ship like this one to look like a brand new vessel? Let us know in the comments section down below what you think you would do if you had the chance, or what your favorite type is when you visit ships like this. So, Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, also from a number of other businesses and private individuals like yourselves. We really appreciate your support. Consider supporting the Stockton Maritime Museum, home of USS Lucid, at the link in the description below, so that they can meet their goals of making it to their new home and being open to the public in the next 2 years. You can support Battleship New Jersey by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find out about us and our channel. Thanks for watching.